purposes. There are professional hypnotists in America who have said that Obama used this, and it's well known that Hitler used neurolinguistic programming as well. And I'm reading these blogs and I'm seeing references to group sex, references to underage women, divorcees. There's a quote about, well, if you know a foreign language, you might have an affair with a foreigner. And I'm thinking, well, what a coincidence. Your clinic is run by foreigners. Like, how convenient for you. And there was there was something else that said that any man could be a weakling, gigolo, or bastard sometimes, and it wasn't really a big deal because it depends on the circumstance, and it doesn't show you the full personality. So I'm thinking, well, if I'm to profile this as somebody who knows a bit about father of the same name, it's his business partner. So what I'm looking at is several criminals all working together here and trying to show people that, this is what happens when, people like this work together unchecked. This is from Leonid Vorobyev.
Okay, so his business partner, nonetheless, this is supposed to be some type of psychological, medical professional. He goes on to write, many women instinctively know that to attract a man, he needs proof that they are a single butterfly in the field of blueberries. If the woman that's just, I don't know, wacky. If the woman follows a resistant path, she will step into the field pretending to be the person that she thinks he wants her to be. This is an unusual role for her to play. If he loves home cooking, watching a football game, and group sex, then she would reply in the following ways. I love to cook. If I had my way, I would spend day and night in the kitchen. Football? That's my favorite team. I don't miss a single game. Of course I love group sex. My only dream is to invite my best friend as a third. These examples are slightly exaggerated, but the point is clear. At one point in time, each one of us has probably played an unusual role just to impress another person. This action of pretending is not necessary. You don't need to make a fool of yourself to be with a man. Now, and I wanted to ask you about this because although this is highly unusual, what was written here, Anthony, very, strange, nonetheless, to me, when I read the last sentence, it sounds like, but you let me know, that they're discouraging people to give in to this sort of thing. Because it says the action of pretending is not necessary. So the above was if a woman was to pretend. So to me, I thought they were trying to encourage women not to be like that. But you know different. So tell me more of what you know.
Well, it seems this way on the surface when you read it, but when you combine it with the other, evidence that I have, and the other things on the website that seem a little off, looking at the alleged behaviors of the son of the business partner, Sergei Tsytsarev, and also looking at the collective work of his father, Sergei Tsytsarev, which ranges from a lot of work on violence, and the prevention of violence is one of his works. And there's some off-color comments about terrorism. One of them being something along the lines of Japan having a low incidence of violent crime, although they have a lot of violence in their media and on TV and entertainment, and making the correlation that, well, America has a lot of violence out there too, but there's more violence going on here, but there's not always a correlation between violence in the media and entertainment and violence in a country. But here's the thing. In Japan, they actually had to change their laws to allow for a guardian angels chapter, and they didn't do it because there's not a lot of violent crime over there. Plus, their police department is reputed for, if you could look this up, for being one of the most corrupt in the world and vastly underreporting incidences of violent crime. So to make the correlation, when somebody's doing something and they're clever enough and they're a criminal, they have a way of mixing in truth with lies. And, this is even, you can look to the Bible as a source on this also. When Adam and Eve met with Satan in the Garden of Eden, Satan didn't come and say, hey, I'm evil, and, tell them a bunch of lies. He mixed, some truth in with the lies and coerced them and came in as a friend. Because evil disguised as good or disguised as, not so bad is a lot more palatable to somebody who's an unsuspecting victim.
So, Anthony, do you think they're running a cult then at this facility?
Was on Russian Vancouver Voice Radio or something like that earlier this year, and he was a co-guest with another guest from New York City who happens to be a representative of the World Zionist Organization, and that to me was pretty alarming. I still have to find a translator to help me, translate the show over so I could see what's going on there, but I find it very concerning that Sergei Tsytsarev Sr.'s work has some, comments about terrorism that aren't very accurate. He's got this partner with the strange, blogs on his website. He has a son who's an alleged repeat domestic violence offender, and there's also an actress the son worked with who ended up dead of an apparent suicide. I find suspicious. And then, seeing the father on a radio show appearing with somebody representing the World Zionist Organization, I find that very concerning.
So, Anthony, let me ask you this, because, there's a lot, yes, it's concerning, but there's a lot of issues today. So why this particular clinic? What about this makes it so important to you? What is it that you are trying to uncover?
Well, I would like to, find out what's going on at this clinic, get a little bit more evidence.
But why? Why this clinic?
Well, I think they should be shut down. I think that there's a very high probability that they're targeting certain types of women and, trying to, weed them out to either coerce them into sexual relationships or perhaps hypnotize them into sexual relationships. Because if you know anything, I'm sure you've probably heard of Operation Paperclip before, and I'm sure you've probably heard of MK Ultra before. So yes, of course. So if they're prescribing the drugs, right? Because we know drugs is part of MK Ultra, is getting your victim all drugged up, and then the other part of MK Ultra is driving messages into their subconscious mind to the point where you can control them. So if they've got certain types of women coming there for methadone or Suboxone, and they're saying, well, you have to come here anyway to fill your script, so you might as well get the hypnosis session as well. And, a lot of people who are on methadone and Suboxone sometimes might take a little too much, or who knows if these guys are encouraging people to come in there to take a little bit too much, and then putting them through these hypnosis sessions to amplify the receptivity of the subject or victim. And then, from there, who knows where this stuff goes. So I think that... You know what,
Anthony, I want to commend you on it, and just for the sake of time, that's one reason why I'm cutting you off there. I appreciate it because there is a lot of sex slavery. There's a lot of underground. For anybody who has seen that really eerie, eyes wide shut or eyes wide open, that movie that was out, this goes on in our government. It goes on around the world. It's in this country. A lot of sex slavery, a lot of abuse against children and women. I've said before, everybody should, get up on, the several of the issues that have gone on, including Franklin cover-up. So I appreciate you sticking with this because there's not a lot of people, Anthony, who would take such a concern, who found something. This is what I love about you. You found something that concerns you. something that bothered you, and you're doing your Christian duty. You are doing your duty as a man to try to protect these women. So I have to commend you on that. And when we keep in touch, please let me know what you uncover and what the ending result is. And I want to have you come back on. Will you do that?
That would be.
So you're running for what office, Anthony?
United States Congress to represent New York State District 3. And if people want to donate, there's a P.O. box on the Sovereignty Party of America website in the Contact Us section, and they could donate the Sovereignty Party of America. I've been, more encouraging donations to the party than my campaign. I would like to build the party more than actually spend money on the campaign this time around. Honestly, I wasn't planning on running this time. I wanted to, recruit and assist other candidates, but through the discovery of this crooked clinic and this individual that I originally discovered, it encouraged me to run again, because it was like, well, if this is the only way to alert the public to this problem, then I suppose I better run again.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you are, and thank you.
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.